Hello, my name is Spencer McCormack, and today I want to share with you the fly that caught me a couple of world record smallmouth bass this year. Um, it's this fly right here. I've been well. First of all, it's not the original version. It's a more evolved version. The original version that I was tying, which was catching a load of nice fish, by the way, it was this tan version, and I still really like that color. It's a that color works well in the lakes that I fish. So black works, but tan is a real winner. So that'll be a color that I plan to maintain in the future. The one one of the big differences between more of the more evolved version versus the original version is the thickness of the foam. This is a 3 millimeter thick foam, whereas this is a 2 millimeter thick foam. The advantage of the 3 millimeter is that it's more robust, so it's going to last longer, and it also sits higher in the water column. There is a slight advantage to the 2 millimeter in the fact that because it compresses, you're more likely to get a hook set on those fish. So depending on your situation, maybe you want to go with a 2 millimeter foam. I think it just depends on what you're doing. So but you can see some of the bite marks in this fly just from getting chewed. So this this design was based off of a design by Fly Fish Food out of Utah, and I've used a few of their flies over the years to catch a lot of really nice fish, and I will show another fly that I've been using to catch again world record smallmouth. But and the reason that I have been using flies or from them, or at least the basis of their flies, is because their flies they have a nice aesthetic. They're usually a little easier to tie, and they easily you're easily able to get those materials for those flies in one place. Being from Michigan, in northern Michigan, we obviously have a very robust fly tying culture here, and there's a lot of flies that were designed right here. And but the thing is where I live, exactly where I live, I don't really have a fly shop nearby. So there's a fly shop about 35 minutes south, 35 to 40 minutes, and that's a pretty long drive for me. And it only got that close and when I moved to where I am now. Before that, it was closer to an hour. So I don't really have anyone showing me anything or telling me anything really directly. I learned some things off the internet, but I'm pretty much in this on my own. So that's the reason that I've come to select the flies that I did. Not local flies, but flies from somewhere else, because I'm not really talking to anyone local. So so this is the fly right here. First of all, the hook that I'm using is a size 2 Gamakatsu and a B-10 stinger, which is a very popular hook. It's very sharp, so it's a reliable hook. So has a nice shape. All right. So, and then I'm using some red thread here. It doesn't really matter so much. I think a thicker thread is easier to work with. This is Danville's 210 denier, so that's easier to work with. But you can use a lot of different threads, I imagine. So I'll start right here and make that thread body. Gonna go all the way to the back. And then this is what I'm using for tail material here. On the original fly, it was a brown, and this is black, obviously, and it has this flashy stuff within the the craft fur, so that's nice. On the original version, there was no flashy stuff in the tail material, so I would put a little bit of a crystal flash in there just to create that sort of reflectiveness that I think you see on fish. I think fish scales are reflective, and so I think it's quite natural to have a little bit of flash to to represent that what the fish actually has, a bait fish. So I'm gonna pull the longest threads out, so just to kind of keep it a little more even, and a little bit about as long as the body or a little bit longer is fine. And I will tie down. Okay, whatever. So the main part of the body is going to be made out of the foam, obviously, and what I've come to decide is a good size is going to be 1 centimeter wide by 6 centimeters long, so that'll be the right size for this fly. Okay, so I have my 1 by 6, it's metric, my 1 by 6 piece of foam here. I'm gonna, I'm not at the, right behind the eye, but I'm, probably about 0.5 centimeter back, or a little bit more. And I'm just gonna tie that down. It's not bad. It's okay if it's a little farther back than that. Okay. So the next part is sort of a. I pulled this. I got this idea from the complex twist bugger. In which I also got from Fly Fish Foods. So they basically took like a sort of a Palmer chenille material. They have their own, which I've used for quite a while. I didn't. This is from that one fly shop that's 40 minutes away, and what it is this chocolates filler flash brown. I have no loyalty to this particular material. I just saw it in the shop there, and I bought it because I needed it. So I'm just gonna tie it in right here. And then I have my my feather here, which I'm going to use to add to the complex twist. This is not a real high quality feather or anything, but it'll get the job done. It'll I'm sure it'll work. So I'm gonna tie in right at the tip. Hopefully I have enough feather there. It seems to be long enough. All right, just go right down to the end. All right, I'm just gonna line this up, so they're together. And I'm gonna just pinch down right about her. And I'm just gonna cut everything below that because I don't need it. All right, I'm gonna spread out that feather and do a little bit of a twist here. Yeah, and I do this with my woolly buggers that I fish in the rivers, and yeah, I don't have any special flies for the streams, but I really gravitate towards smallmouth fishing. I think it's just really a quality experience, particularly where I live. So, I mean, we have good trout fishing, but we have outstanding bass fishing. So I'm just gonna start wrapping this in here. Try not to trap any fibers. They don't have to be too closely wrapped because you don't want this to be too hairy. Actually, that'll give it some problems. Actually, with it'll make it less inclined to sit right when it's floating. If you have too much material on the bottom, so this is about as much material as you really want to put under here. So I apologize for my awkward setup here. I'm just trying to make a video for you. There we go. And I'm just wrapping back on it to keep it, push it back and make it look nice, and that's good. Yeah, that's a lot of material in there. It's it's not too much, but I wouldn't go any more than that. And then I'm just going to kind of part the top, part the top, and then use all 6 of that centimeters to to form the body of this mouse gurgler. So you want to get that nice little bend in the butt there. That's going to allow it to sit up in the water column, I believe. So I'm bringing the front part of this not quite to the eye, but just a little ahead of it. So then I'm just going to pull down on this. And that's the most of the bug right there. If you had to fish that, you probably could do okay. So, but we're not done yet. So I'm gonna add a little bit more here, which this is the way that I saw, and I do it because it just adds a little bit more buoyancy, and then it also, for this color, a little bit of contrast. You can see it out in the water a little better. The tan version of that fly is just tan, it's double tan. So, which it worked great. And I did notice, in my experience, because I tried some other colors too, and it did seem like the fish shied away from unnatural colors. And tan worked really well, black worked well. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is lay down a piece of, a little piece of foam on top there. And that's, as a marker, it can help you identify that fly out in the water. It also adds just a bit of buoyancy. So I'm going to cut out a 1x2, rectangle for this piece, and it looks like I've been cutting them right here. Yeah, so 1x2 is going to be the right size. Okay, so I have my my little 1x2 rectangle here, and I'm gonna I feel like that's too big, I think at some point I had a 1x1 rectangle. Now I'm doing 1x2, so I don't think that's right at all. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna place it right here, and I'm going to lock down on that right there. And I'm going to cut a lot of this back off because, it's been a few months since I tied these, but I'm just going to... There we go. Cut into that a little bit. And just, do it to whatever, aesthetic pleases you. But it does have some functional value, provides buoyancy and a marker. So, if it's too much, this is red, so if you think that's gonna spook the fish, I'd trim it back just a little bit more so it's not hanging off the edge there. So that's that. And now the last piece are just some legs. Mice have legs, bugs have legs. So I think it's a good little trigger. And it gives me some confidence as an angler. So I have a couple little legs here. I'm just gonna have that one right there. No, I didn't. Very good. And then I'll go under to complete this fly that, really should do well on the water there. Just gonna get my whip finish and slide it in there. Try not to trap anything. And we will go 3 times. Okay. So, there you have it. That is what I've been calling a mouse gurgler. It's a gurgler style fly, and it looks kind of like a mouse, maybe, or like a big, bug, maybe a cicada or something. And the reason that I, started fishing this fly was because, after the spawn, we have a hex hatch in the lakes as well as the rivers, and the bass eat them. You'll see them slurping them. So, during the day. So, it's quite natural to then move towards a topwater fly. And I experimented with a couple different things, but I just knew that I wanted something really easy to fish. And foam is a great material. Obviously, it floats really well, and it's durable, and it's fun. So that was really the reason why I went towards this, and it's really been a fun way to fish, and it's really paid off. And I expect it to pay off more in the future. So, but that's about it. And I plan on doing more content. So in the next video, I think that I will do a little review on this book right here by Dave Karzinski and Tim Landwehr. I don't really know Tim, but I kind of know Dave. And I just got this for Christmas. I asked for it, so I never read it before, and but I want to do a little review on this book and see how it if it's relative to me or not, and so that should be real fun. Well, thank you very much, and have a great day.